Hey everyone, and welcome back! I'm Alvin of Alvining, and today we're exploring what I consider to be one of the most challenging island themes to work with, Citycore! Honestly, I've been putting off this video for a while because the theme of Citycore is so diverse and full of possibilities, and I've just really been struggling with how to thoroughly and properly present these islands to you. I've got 5 incredibly designed islands, each with its own feel and approach to the idea of what Citycore can look like. So let's dive right in and discover together, what is Citycore? Starting off, I split this video into 3 separate videos, each with its own specific focus, so make sure to check out all 3 to get a full picture of what Citycore is all about. I'll leave links to the other 2 videos in the description so you'll be able to find them there. First, let's understand what I call the 3 main essentials of Citycore. We've got mood, height, and lights. Mood in particular is probably the most important thing to consider when building a city on your island. The main moods that I've noticed while visiting these islands are like this grunge, post-apocalyptic style design, which focuses on a lot of gray and rusted coloring, and it just feels like the city has fallen into a state of disrepair. Or you could focus on a brighter mood, kind of pulling in some kidcore type inspiration with the bright colors and real-world references. Or the other main mood is just like a dream city where everything is clean and organized, grid-like, with a consistent splash of nature throughout. Height is one key aspect that you can really play around with. What you put on the higher levels of your island is going to heavily influence the mood that you experience while moving about the island. For this, simple panels, stalls, utility poles, and really any other tall item is going to be important. The custom designs you use and the colors of the different items you place will be what defines the mood and the feel of the island in the end. Light is the last essential element that you'll need to consider, and it ties in perfectly with the other 2 elements. To create the feel of a truly hustling and bustling city, the more lights, the merrier. Servers, where open signs, movie lights, light posts, and projectors seem to be the most common items used to play with the feel and intensity of light on the island. You'll also want to include a good diversity in the intensity of your lights. In the real world, the downtown districts of a city are generally brighter, while the more residential areas usually are not as well lit. You can really smell the hopes and dreams disintegrating into the toxic waste. So peaceful. One aspect of city-themed islands that I think may actually be simpler than other themes is the terraforming. Most of the islands I visited were built in a grid-like pattern because that's just really common for cities, and as such, terraforming isn't all that complicated. I think the easiest way to start designing your city is to lay down your roads first. Then, after you get your grid down on the ground, you'll just need to build up the land where you want your buildings, panels, stalls, whatever tall items really to go. This is a good example where you can see how city terraforming can look. You will not be cutting or rounding any corners, and the easiest way to make a building is to place simple panels right at the front of the structure, and then place bunk beds or whatever other tall items you want behind the simple panels, and that will create the illusion of a building. I know that for themes like fairycore and cottagecore, water terraforming in particular can be a bit of a challenge, but Citycore makes it a lot easier because your waterways can either be just non-existent and you can pretend that your city is too overcrowded for water, or you can create long, thin canals along your roads. It's really clean and it's a really good symmetrical design. Plus, it's super easy to make, and if you do want to challenge yourself a little bit, you could always make something like this big bay, which is basically just a giant rectangle, which again is simple to do. Or you could make like this small sewage waterway, especially if you need a filler design for a smaller space. The last big design aspect I wanted to touch on is all about how to balance your urban metropolis with a little bit of nature. Each city-themed island that I visited had some amount of nature, which is really important because it adds life and diversity to your island, which can completely change the way the island feels. It breaks up the monotony. The amount of nature and the way that you integrate nature into your city design will obviously differ depending on the mood you want to create. For example, here on Cato, the creator incorporated small, subtle splashes of nature throughout the city itself with the trees and bushes. But they also built a vibrant nature trail around the island that offers a really pleasant change of pace from the prim and proper grid that they have in the city. They included a little farming area with an orchard and even an abandoned train track that adds a bit of mystery to the island. On the opposite end of the spectrum, you could do something like this mine factory design, which plays really well with the post-apocalyptic, slum-like feel of the island. As long as there's a few trees or at least a few flowers somewhere, you'll be fine. Have fun with it and save the bees and the trees. Alright. Moving on. We've covered almost everything there is to know about the Citycore theme. Now there's only one question left. Is Citycore right for you? Designing a city on your island comes with its own unique sets of challenges and rewards. Similarly to Kitcore, it's extremely code dependent. To be consistent and purposeful in designing your island, it's likely going to take a while to gather all of the specific codes that you need to create the right mood and feel that you're wanting. This extra time spent researching codes could mean that you have less time to actually play and engage with the game, so the Citycore theme would likely work best for players who are either just really passionate and determined to put in that extra time researching and testing out new designs, or it would work really well for players who are patient and willing to take a long time before they finally feel like they can properly finish their islands. Citycore is a great theme for players who aren't very confident in their terraforming skills, because as long as you can make straight lines, you'll be fine with this theme. At the end of the day, design whatever makes you happy and play the game in the way that provides you with the most joy. Everything I've mentioned is all just ideas and suggestions. Obviously, follow your own creative flow, and you'll find your way in designing the island you want. Remember that your island is beautiful every step of the way, and enjoy the game. Thank you so much for joining me today as we dove deep into discovering and learning all about Citycore. Remember to check out the other 2 videos in the Citycore trilogy, and if you made it this far, leave a comment letting me know what your favorite beverage is. My blood has literally transformed into coffee with oat milk at this point, and I just always hear my heart ringing in my ear now. Leave a like and subscribe, it means the world to me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!